You tell how you found them. I'll tell you.
There's a ladybug on the window.
It's on the outside.
Oh, it is on the outside. There is a ladybug on the window.
It's cute. They are cute.
Hello everyone. Welcome to the Podcast with the usual people.
Me, Jamie.
And Mackay.
Hello. So, the person we're speaking today, he's called Cody. He's from the same town as us, same city, area or whatever, in the country as us. And he, among other things, this isn't all he does, but he does write to serial killers. He was in and out of prison, and he writes to serial killers.
Yeah. That's how I discovered him back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
More specifically, person I'm thinking of, Ian Brady.
The Mars murders.
No, I was going to say with you, but no.
With me?
Yeah. No, that guy. I don't know what he's called.
That guy?
The bald guy.
Sean Atwood. How we knew.
Yeah, Ian Brady.
Well, yeah, that's because I found Cody through a podcast with Sean Atwood. And that's how I found him.
What was Ian for?
Yeah.
Ian, not
Cody.
Yeah.
He was like I think he we did talk about it, but we've trimmed it down because we talked for a very long time. I think he was in and out 3 times. He'd been in strange ways. I couldn't really decipher what it was because he said he got let off and he was there on charges and stuff.
But it was basically
gang related.
Yeah, Manchester gangs all over the world stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. He's got his own YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So if you're interested, check that out.
Yeah, he does have a YouTube channel. Do I explain how I know Sean Atwood?
I mean,
should we do that in the end?
Yeah, okay.
I need to eat first.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll explain how I know Sean Atwood. It's a bit of a weird story. But here's the conversation we had. It's cut in. You hear me refer to his timeline because we're trying to decipher when he started writing to serial killers, and that's basically where we take off. So we'll join you after the conversation. In the timeline of what we've already spoken about, you're now out of prison.
Yeah.
When did you started like you said at the beginning with Stephen Port and Ian Brady, and the Philpotts and things like that? When did you first start sending these letters? Was this before prison?
Right, no. Right, so like I say, when I wasn't locked up in my room as a kid, which was quite frequently to be honest, because I was classed as a naughty kid, was like I would watch like documentaries. I would be glued to serial killer documentaries, gang documentaries, gangster documentaries, and I had this thing from like probably 12, 13, 14 upwards. I was obsessed, I'll be honest with you. It was like not like a morbid interest. It was just, I found the whole thing, like I was interested in the like forensic psychology standpoint. Yeah. Why do these people do what they do? And even though I wasn't academic at school, I liked to know what made people tick, what made people commit these heinous crimes, these abhorrent crimes. And what it was I was actually in Strangeways, in the library at Strangeways, right? So like I say, this is 2014, right? I'm in the library at Strangeways. There's only one library in the prison, and it's it's actually on the floors in the bottom rotunda, right? Which is like the hexagonal building. And I'm in there, and I was in the library, and I'm not interested with sci-fi or none of that crap. I read like true crime, but I don't read. I'm not even a big reader, but I was bored in prison. So what it was it was true crime. So I was like, right. So started to read true crime books. One of the crime books that I picked up was on serial killer Ian Brady and Myra Hindley. So when I'm reading this book, it was like a background on Brady and stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, Brady's been in Strangeways, right? Brady is probably in the library because it said he got books from the library whilst he was in Strangeways. He was on remand at Strangeways prison he used to work at Smithfield Market. You know, the up on like Ancoats,
Yeah,
in between Piccadilly Gardens and Ancoats, right?
Yeah.
Well, people that don't know Manchester, there's a Smithfield Market thing, right? And he was working there, and he got done for stealing like brass or silver or something. Like he was a petty thief, right? So he stole them. He ended up getting caught, and he was put into Strangeways on remand. Whilst he was there, he started to get books on like bookkeeping and stuff, right? And what he actually did, he took the books to his cell, studied it. Upon release, carried on studying it, did a vocation or a qualification in this bookkeeping, right? And then he got a job at a factory, at a business in, I think it was Longsight or Gorton, and there was a blonde girl that worked there by the name of Myra Hindley, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
So that's true. That everything there, that was a fact, right? So Brady studied bookkeeping, left, carried on studying after his release, got a job in bookkeeping at this, I think it was, can't remember if it was an accountancy firm or something along those lines. And this blonde girl, Myra Hindley, obviously it later transpired to be, and that's how that all happened. So when I'm reading this, I'm thinking, and then I obviously followed the stories in Ashworth. He was declared as like criminally insane, blah blah blah. So what it was, when I left Strangeways, I decided to write to him. Now, I'll be straight with you. The first person I ever wrote to was serial killer Ian Brady. Now, like I say, in the UK, it's quite hard to locate high-profile people, but it was well documented about Brady. Like I said, he'd been in prisons, blah, 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 but then he got found criminally insane and sent to, in the UK, we've got 3 high-security hospitals. You've got Rampton, you've got Broadmoor, and you've got Ashworth, which is in Maghull, which is near Liverpool in Merseyside. So I wrote to him, I just put his what I did, I went onto Wikipedia, saw that he was in Ashworth, in brackets, so I wrote on the envelope, I wrote him a long-winded letter asking him many detailed questions and stuff. I didn't want to be too sort of like a Spanish Inquisition sort of thing. Don't want to ask too many questions because I didn't know him from Adam. But I was trying to make myself relevant to the man. I lived in Manchester. He committed his crimes in Manchester. I used to live in Hyde. He used to live up on Hattersley Estate with Myra Hindley at Walderbrook Avenue. So I knew a lot about his backstory. But the thing is, I was sick of reading books and what the media portrayed. I'm thinking, right, I'll write to him and see if he discloses to me, like, what he did. And my brain works in a way that it's like, everyone that writes to him is going to be an academic. So a criminology student, a forensic psychology student, professors, doctors of criminology, psychology, forensic psychology. I'm a thick, uneducated street kid from Manchester. I'm a criminal, right? He's a criminal. He's more inclined to open up to me than he is, let's say, a criminologist or an academic, because they're going to have an angle, if you see what I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
So anyway, so I wrote to the guy, and weeks and weeks went by, probably 6 to 8 weeks, and then I came back. I think I'd been to the court or something. I came back, and I opened my front door, and there was this envelope, and it was my handwritten letter. And like, it was my handwritten, like, stamped addressed envelope.
Yeah.
And then at the top, it said in blue writing, certificate of posting, very posh, well-written handwriting. So I've opened it up, and the first thing that falls out of the package, the first thing that I pulled out was a slip saying it would have been like someone from Ashworth security, like high security hospital, has inspected the package and stuff. So, and I was thinking, right, I can't see it being a letter from Brady. I just can't. Opened it up, mate, and there was a letter there from Brady.
Wow.
And to be honest with you, right, even though I'd had this vested interest in, like I say, serial killers, gangs and gangsters, when you open a letter that's written by the hand that killed them children, God bless the victims, right? Yeah. It's quite unnerving. It's quite strange. It was. Yeah. I was excited, but I was also a bit nervous. I was like, whoa, this is a bit weird. Because obviously he knew my address, but I wasn't bothered about that because he was an old man. But like, I was just like, oh my God, like, this is crazy. Yeah. So yeah, and then what happened was I read the letter. I tried, because people say he was a pseudo-intellectual and stuff, so I was like, I challenged myself and was like, right, I'm a thick, uneducated street kid. This guy appears very intelligent and very intellectual, right? Can I hang with him? Can I keep his interest? Can I spark his interest? Can I keep a conversation going with this man? And I did more research and stuff when I was writing to him and stuff, and I would question things that I'd seen in the media or I'd seen like documented about him, and I would try to get a little bit of background and do a little bit more digging, and then, like I said, as time went on and stuff, we started sending each other sort of gifts, if you will, and by gifts I mean DVDs. Like he sent me like. I think I can't remember the name, something Rider, it was a film. I sent him like Shawshank Redemption. I sent him Enemy at the Gates, which is a reenactment of the Battle of Stalingrad between the Russians and the Germans and the Nazis, because obviously it was well documented that he had an interest or a fascination with Hitler and the Nazis. So I didn't just write to him half-heartedly. I actually did the research in and around him, so that I can, and then what I would do is I'd work in questions, like I'd say, oh, in the media it says this, but I don't really believe everything that's written in the media, because the media, they twist stories and stuff, and I was trying to like massage his ego, because if someone's like I say, a narcissist, that they're above people, they're very self-loathing, they're very self-important, and obviously I'm a thick uneducated street kid, and I just carried on writing to him. I sent him I bought off eBay for £10. It was a braided paracord like bracelet thing, like with like a paracord bracelet, so it was like blue, but it had the Scottish white cross on it, because he was obviously born in the Gorbals district of Glasgow, which was the slums. So I bought him this paracord bracelet. It was actually signed by a psychiatrist with a letter saying it's inappropriate, he can't have it, these items are banned at Ashworth. I then sent him a card off Moonpig, which was actually a self-picture of him on the front of it. And that was sent back because he's not allowed to have pictures of himself or something. Wow. So that was rejected. But like I said, we swapped. He sent me a little task, like he said, he said, I liked like closed triangles. So like if you buy a birthday card, they're normally closed triangle. You know, like where you lick it down in a V shape. You lick the thing and it's like a V shape and it seals down. Well, he liked these lick and like he liked these not peel and seal. He liked these closed triangle gummed like lickable envelope things, right? And I couldn't, for some reason, right, I was going into WH Smith's, couldn't find them. They're all peel and seal and stuff in this day and age, right? So I couldn't find one. Eventually found them and sent him a load in, like just envelopes, closed triangle envelopes. Then he asked me for Schaefer refills, Schaefer pen refills, which were like blue medium. So he was setting me like little challenges and stuff. And the thing is, he thought he was manipulating me, but I was actually taking the stories to the media, mate. So this is the thing. So I was actually selling the letters to the newspapers and stuff on him, because the fact is he was a child murdering scumbag. But I used my angle as a criminal to get friendly with him and stuff. Put it like this. This is how much he trusted me, right? Until he got wind that I sold a letter. He copied his solicitor into a letter. He said I offered to provide, because obviously at the time I was involved with like gangland and like criminality and the criminal underworld, and I actually said to him, these are who I'm involved with, blah blah blah. I reeled off some names. I said we would provide security at your burial, at your funeral. Well, not burial because he was going to be cremated, but provide security. We will give you a gangland security, like at your funeral, and a send-off to keep the media and stuff. And he said, like something along the lines of, it would be perfectly acceptable in the hysterical like circumstances or something. He said, thank you for your kind offer to provide certain services at the event, as he called it. And he said it'd be perfectly prudent and acceptable in the exceptional and hysterical exceptional circumstances. He used to talk in riddles, mate, sometimes. You know what I mean? He was that sort of guy. The offer was fake, mate. The offer was fake. I tried to get to see him at Ashworth several times, right? I asked him stupid amounts of times, can I come and see you on a visit? Can I come and see you? And he said, I've not had a social visit since 1998, when Ashworth, which is obviously the security hospital, had become a regressive prison, as he called it. Now, the reason I wanted to go in on a visit, and I'll tell you straight, was because I was going to get a covert camera tie. I've been into Strangeways, right, which is a high security prison, and I had a tie on, and they patted me down and they searched me and they patted me, but they didn't feel the tie. And I had it in my mind that if the same thing was to happen at Ashworth Secure Hospital, that I could video record, like film our whole like meeting or like visit, if you will.
Wow.
And then at the end of the visit, as time was coming to an end, I was going to attack him, right? And I was then going to take it to the media and sell it, mate, for tens of thousands of pounds.
Yeah.
Because I just wanted to, because mate, I would go to prison, mate, for fucking up a child killer.
Yeah.
Pardon me language. I would go to prison for seriously attacking someone that attacked and killed children. I was victimized and hurt as a child. I had that in my mind. That's definitely some of it, where my brain with Brady was like, I wrote to Brady, so part of it was interest, and part of it was I want to win his trust, manipulate him, and then get him to naively believe that I could get the location of Keith Bennett's body. Obviously, that didn't happen, but it didn't stop me trying, mate. And I got him to talk about Saddleworth Moors, Duffstone Reservoir, which is like just before you start going up the hill. And he started, like I said, he never really spoke about Myra. But then in one snippet of the letter, I said, do you know Dovestone Reservoir? Like, and it made me skin crawl, mate. I've still got the pictures of the letters, mate. I can send them you. It's freaky, mate. And he said to me in the thingy, I said, do you know Dovestone Reservoir? And he said, so obviously we is obviously him and Myra. We knew the area well. In fact, we used to go shooting. In the woods right near the reservoir. Yeah. In fact, probably some of the bullet-ridden jerry cans are probably still rusting there, right? And then there's a picture, right, that I believe there's a certain picture of Brady, right? Normally it was because obviously it was well documented, they took pictures on the victims' graves and stuff, right? Now, there's a certain picture that I believe, I've said it to the media and stuff like that. The media spoke to the police, but the police said no, they just weren't having none of it. And I said, there's a certain picture that I believe to be these woods in the area, right? The picture's still on Google there for people to see, right? And it's of Ian Brady. There must have been a third person there, right, to take the picture, right? And Brady and her are like standing in front of these woods, and it looks very similar to the woods that are at Dovestone Reservoir. And like I said, it's my own crazy, like, I don't know, conspiracy theory or whatever, that for me is where Keith Bennett's body is buried. But the media told the police said, no, we're not having it. We're not having it. Like, it's so vast and stuff and blah, blah, blah. But anyway, he spoke about the Moors. He spoke about when he was arrested for the murders. He was caught in bed. He said in the house, they had firearms. There was, like, I think he said a 45, a 38, a 303 rifle. And elsewhere, they had unlimited ammunition. Because I always asked him, on the back of that letter was, would you have shot your way out? You see what I'm saying? No, mate, I asked him everything, mate, because the thing is, I am actually very good at doing it. Some people write to these people, and they're asking too many questions off the bat. You've got to make yourself relevant to these people and stuff. I've just wrote to that, what's he called? He killed a little 6-year-old girl in the Isle of Bute, Alicia McPhail. I can't remember his name. He's caught a 16-year-old kid. Yeah. Anyway, I wrote to him, mate. I wrote to, like I say, the Brenton Harrison Tarrant, who carried out the New Zealand shooting. Wrote to Dennis Nielsen. Dennis Nielsen wrote back. Wrote to Brady. Brady was an interesting one, though, because the thing that came apparent with Brady as well was when I wrote to him, I'd done the doors in Manchester, right, on King Street, right, like the pub was called, on Oldham Street, there's a pub called the Kings. Now, Brady mentioned it first in a letter. I don't know how it came about. We were talking about Manchester, right? Because obviously I know Manchester like the back of my hand. Back streets, cut throughs. I just know the centre like the back of my hand. So he was talking about this pub, and he mentioned the Kings on Oldham Street. It's now called something else, right? It's been done up, refurb. But he said, I used to have meetings in the King's pub on Oldham Street, because he said it had 2 entrances. It backed onto Tib Street. He said where the Army Surplus store was, right? No, the Army Surplus, no, he didn't mention the Army Surplus store. I know the person that owns that. So I said to him, oh my God, I used to do the door at the Kings, because I did. I used to work for a guy called Floyd Dudo in Manchester on the door there, so it was just crazy. Yeah. So anyway, mate, I'll shut up now, because I talk way too much.
No, but like you related to him. You it's like you allowed yourself to be groomed almost. You know.
Not really, because the thing is, he probably thought he was manipulating me, but I was actually right.
Sorry,
The thing is, I can understand why some people would fall under his spell, right? Because, like I say, he's even though it's letters, right? He's quite, like I say, he's quite approachable. He was very, very. If I was to send you some of the letters, right, front and back, like every time he wrote to me, ordinarily, it was one piece of A4 paper, front and back, right? Always from top to bottom, both sides, right? And the amount of content that he would talk about in this two-sided page letters, in every letter, was absolutely vast. And like I say, what it was, he committed his crimes in Manchester. I was obviously live in Manchester and was raised in Manchester. I lived in Hyde. He used to live in Hyde. I know Manchester like the back of my hand. He used to operate in Manchester. So we knew the areas that we was talking about, right? And then he even sent me a picture. There used to be a prison in Bellevue called the Bellevue Gaol or something, right? And it was knocked down, but he sent me a picture what he'd managed to, I don't know how he got hold of it, or someone had sent it into him, like another pen friend, if you will. And he sent it to me, and then I put it... he sent it to me. It was like pictures. He sent me pictures of the Daily Express building that used to be on the top of Oldham Street where Ancoats is. Just crazy things. But what it was, I made myself... If you write to somebody, one of these serial killers or high-profile prisoners, and you just start asking question, they're gonna shut you off, right? Yeah. You have to make yourself relevant to them. You have to put them on a pedestal. You have to be almost understanding. You have to let them know that you don't believe all the stuff that's in the media. You know it's true. You know that the facts for the case speak for themselves. But you sympathise with the person. You almost massage their ego, because. Like, if I write to Brady and start calling him a child murderer and this, that, and the other, the reality is he's not going to have anything to do with me. He's going to cut all correspondence. Yeah. So if you're trying to find out information, you've got to go nicey, tippy-toe, do you know what I mean? And then I got more brave with my questions. He never disclosed the location of Keith Bennett's body, but I genuinely do believe that if I wouldn't have sold the last story on him, that he would have... He copied the solicitor into the letter, and I've still got the letter, the pictures of the letter. I ended up selling the letters to a macabre, someone contacted me and said, I believe you wrote to Brady. I was like, yeah. He said, I'm in America. He said, I deal with it. It's called murderabilia, which is a bit morbid. It's like all people that buy and collect serial killer memorabilia, right? Which is, like I say, that is a bit macabre. Anyway, I sold them to him for like £1,000, and that was it. I had the letters. I'd wrote to him. I didn't need to know that I'd corresponded with him. Blah blah blah. Yeah. He died, and that was it, mate. And then this documentary contacted me and was like, "Oh, will you be on the documentary? We're doing this." We're doing these serial killers. I said, well, what are you doing? Stephen Port, I wrote to him, sent him pictures of all the letters. It was like, oh my God. I said, there's loads of content. I said, it's exceptional. I said, I was the only person writing to him at that time. And I was, when he first been remanded. Brady, Dennis, they was covering Ian Brady and Stephen Port. But the Stephen Port one was A Killer's Mistake, which is, I think I might have sent you that link.
Yeah.
A Killer's Mistake, that's on YouTube anyway. A Killer's Mistake, Stephen Port. I was on that documentary, and then the second one we filmed on the same day, that was Inside the Mind of a Serial Killer, which aired last night. And I'll be honest with you, mate, it was a bad... what it was, I'd not slept the night before. I'd been standing in the freezing cold for hours, mate. And Linda Papadopoulos, lovely lady, mate, but she was a bit of a diva because she was freezing cold, and she'd get in the car for half an hour, get out for 5 minutes, go back to the car for 20 minutes, come out for 5 minutes, because the beast from the east, as you saw, was coming in. It was free. I don't know if you've ever been up there, but it's absolutely freezing.
It is freezing up well.
Yeah, because she asked me a question last night, and I watched it back, and I knew I wasn't at my best. And she said, because he tried to get you to do stuff for him. Now, what she was referring to was when Brady asked me to go after Peter Soates and Adam Palfrey, who were they run an underground book publishing company called Feral House, which published the first book of Ian Brady, which is... I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head.
Wasn't he accusing one of them for being like a child porn writer or something like that? I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. Well, he said he's a convicted paedophile and all this sort of stuff, and he wanted me to go at, because obviously he knew what I was involved in, and that I'd been arrested for firearms and all these things. So he wanted me to go after them at all costs, you know what I mean? And he was quite demanding, mate, in that regard. But obviously they're in America, I'm in Manchester. And you can't really fly to America. Well, you can get firearms readily in America, but I won't even get into America anyway with my criminal history. Simple as that, mate. But like I say, Brady was it was an interesting dynamic but the fact that he's thought that he was befitting of a gangland funeral. The amount of content I give them on the Moor I actually give them a lot better stuff than what they actually put out. But what you've got to remember, it's an hour episode, and I was just a very, very small portion of it, which is fine. It's not about me; it's about the issue. But yeah, it was just it was interesting, but. I don't know. I wasn't switched on the day. Sometimes I'm at my best, and other times I was crap, mate. I was tired. I was freezing cold, and I was quite ratty, mate, with what was going on the Moor. To be honest, because it was just when we first started. When they did the shots over the moors and stuff, and you could see there was no snow, and it was just windy and stuff and desolate. That's how it started, mate. And after 2 or 3 hours, when the beast from the east started to come in, that's when I'd literally not stayed out. I stayed out of the car, so I was freezing.
It looked freezing.
Mate, it was free. It was for me. Even my missus said to me on the phone last night, she went, "Your face actually changed from the start to the end." She said, "I said I was freezing, man. Frostbite. I felt like frostbite was literally taking over my fingers. I was freezing. I wasn't wrapped up, man. I was just in a t-shirt and my coat and that. But yeah, so go on. What's the next thing?
We might have to wrap it up here because we don't like going over an hour. So that was messed up.
Yeah. From what I heard, it seemed pretty interesting though. Yeah.
My sandwich was good.
What did you have? Never asked you that.
Turkey and bacon on brown sliced with mayo.
It's a good shout.
I got some rose lemonade here.
And you had a brownie.
It was like a vegan brownie. Makes no difference because I just had bacon, but there we are.
Sorry.
What are you doing, Jamie?
Just trying to sort this thing up.
Yeah.
Trying to get the arms nice. Anyway.
So have you ever been tempted to write to serial killers?
I've never been tempted to write. I find it very interesting. Hence, when I found those videos of him talking about it.
And that was years ago, wasn't it?
Maybe
you first found those videos.
Yeah, because like him, I was very.
You have a bit of a fascination.
Yeah, I got a bit of a morbid curiosity about those kind of things.
Yeah, I don't think I would ever write, but the whole concept of it is very interesting.
I don't think I could handle the nerve.
No.
You know, it takes a certain type of person.
Yeah.
And
but I mean, like you said,
disrespect,
he said like he grew up in like prison pretty much, didn't he?
Yeah, and he was using his crime, but which I suppose would help.
Yeah.
Get on the same level. So Cody's in a very unique position to be able to do it.
Yeah.
He's obviously good at it.
Yeah.
You know.
But there's a lot of time and effort you have to put in because imagine the amount of mundanity, whatever.
Yeah.
that they went through talking, just so he could try and get Keith Bennett's body's whereabouts.
Do you know much about the Moors murders in the 60s?
I mean, I know like
it happened in that.
Yeah, I know it happened.
Yeah.
But I mean, like he killed like kids and then just buried them all over.
Yeah.
Like,
the Moors,
yeah.
Saddleworth.
Him and Matt,
Yeah. Then didn't he like kind of play games with like the police just so he can get out?
In the 80s, I think.
Yeah.
Later on, after a few times they both went up there afterwards.
Just so they can just get out.
And Keith Bennett, his body has never been found. Still.
It's really sad.
Which is really sad.
Yeah.
Should I explain how I know Sean Atwood?
Yeah, I think it's worth going into if you're comfortable.
Well, I'll sort of tell it in like a narrative way, sort of suspense. So the way I grew up, I was very close to my granddad, I'll leave it at that, right? And he passed away when I was 12. And life goes on, this kind of things. Anyway. And then I find some Sean Atwood videos much later on in life. I know this sounds like doesn't make any sense, a bit disconnected, but it will in a minute. And I find these Sean Atwood videos, and I just sort of know him, and I recognise the face because I've met him before. I met him in a bookshop, and he signed a book for me and gave me a free book when his first, I think, Hard Time had just come out. It was years ago. I was with my mum, I think, at the time, and she didn't explain anything that was going on or whatever. But I don't know if I was with my mum. I was much older. I don't know. I actually don't know. But I met this guy, and I just knew him as the son of a friend, of some family connection, but not related or anything like that. Then so I'm watching these videos, doing more videos, and so I don't see my mum a lot or anything, but I saw her and was like, how do you know Sean Atwood? And without releasing anything on Sean out of respect for him, it was like, oh well, he's I won't say his mum's name, but so and so's boy. Yeah. And I was like, well, who's she? She was like, oh, she's my half sister.
Yeah.
So I was like, so I'm related to Sean Atwood. She was like, well, yeah, he's your cousin because you share a granddad.
Yeah.
And she explained to me. I never knew. It was never explained to me. You know, we're not the closest of families or anything. And she was like, well, granddad, who I pretty much got brought up by, or whatever. And before he'd met my grandma, before they had kids, they had 2 kids, because I have an auntie somewhere in the world. I don't know her at all. He much younger. When he was much younger, he fathered a child that I don't know. Again, he's not around anymore to know. I don't know if he knew, or he purposely avoided it, or.
Yeah.
But they didn't meet, and then, to my knowledge, so that would have been. So yeah, so Sean Atwood's mum's mum. Sean Atwood's mum's mum.
Mhm.
So Sean Atwood's grandma.
Yeah.
I think then met another guy and they brought up.
Yeah.
I don't know anything, but it wasn't like, I don't think they weren't told that. I don't think Sean Atwood's mum was told. I don't know. I think it was. I don't know. There's no hard feelings or anything like that.
Yeah.
There's nothing like that. It's not some scandal or anything. So, and that's how I kind of found out that. So I was watching these. I'd seen him and watched these videos and watching, because I was kind of a fan of his videos.
Yeah.
And he did all these Q&A videos. And I was watching them. And I was like, that's the weird one. My life's quite strange anyway. And I just made it twice. I was like, what? That's really weird. Because Sean Atwood's the only family outside of the little balloon, the bubble family, and that family is really weird. I don't really know anybody else, but I just don't know people. Don't know who I'm related to outside. So the first person I find out I'm related to is some ex-kingpin drug dealer who's now reformed out of prison and does YouTube videos, and I'd been watching his YouTube videos, and it just so happened I was related to him. And I've still got that book that he gave me.
Yeah.
He gave it me for free. And he did let me go to me and you. He gave us free tickets to his tour in Manchester, and we never got together. And
Yeah.
So
How was that talk then?
his talk in Manchester.
Yeah,
It was really interesting, and it was really weird being in a room full of people who were a fan of Sean, and yet I'm related to him. And I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh yeah, he's my Sean, he's our Sean. I don't know him, I'm not going to try and piggyback off his success or his fame or anything like that. I'm not going to be here like, oh yeah, we're cousins, man. We don't know each other. We're strangers. But it was really weird because I know him through his YouTube videos.
Yeah.
I don't know everything about him, but I do know that he's related to it. So I just have that weird. It's like finding out like George Clooney's related to you. You don't know George Clooney, but you're kind of like, It's weird. It was really weird, but the talk was really interesting.
Yeah, it was.
And he did give me. I don't know if. I think he gives out free tickets to students anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he recognised the name. I don't know. Don't know if he recognised the last name off my email or stuff like that.
Do you reckon he would?
Do you reckon he would remember me?
Don't know, like the surname.
I don't know. But my mum doesn't go by that name anymore. Yeah, my mum doesn't go by those kind of names. You're an idiot. Releasing my last name.
Forgot we were on.
Anyway.
We'll cut that bit on.
We'll leave it. But yeah, that's how I know Sean Atwood. That's how I still watch Sean Atwood's videos, and I saw Cody on the podcast, sent him an email, and fair credit to Cody, he came on and spoke about. He did speak a lot more about a load of other things,
which we might get into at another point.
Yeah, we'll have to get him on.
Yeah,
because he was sort of skating over a lot of surfaces. Because he seemed to have a dense, chaotic life, with a lot of stuff going on, and with prison and stuff. I think that leaves this episode. Next week, we're talking more about prison next week.
Yeah. With a returning guest.
With a returning guest, we won't release anything just in case it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But hopefully with a returning guest. I think we're talking to McAllister, who we spoke to, the transgender. And his experience in prison and transgender and stuff like that. Which would be really interesting, especially with talking to Cody about prison as well. Yeah. And this kind of difference. And
I don't know if we addressed it, like we say we're going to, about when we release the videos. Every Friday, every Sunday.
So when we release these tips, so we're getting into YouTube. I know that sounds really old money to say. Well, we're getting into YouTube.
Getting into FaceTube.
But we're going to start putting the videos on YouTube because it's easier, it's a bit more accessible for more people, and it's just another area to explore. But they come out I don't want to say every Friday, but we aim for every Friday. Every weekend. There's an episode every weekend.
Weekends.
Yeah. That's it.
Every weekend.
So you can expect things every weekend. Uploads every weekend. That's a bit weird, but yeah. So start a YouTube channel. This will be uploaded onto YouTube as well as SoundCloud. So if you're listening through SoundCloud, go over to YouTube, subscribe over there. You'd be able to see things a bit easier. That's how you subscribe to people, don't you?
Yeah, you do subscribe to people on YouTube. Yeah.
What's the bell icon? Do you press
the notification bell?
Yeah.
To get daily.
We're not becoming YouTubers.
To get a notification for when a new episode goes live.
Yeah. Alright, so again, thanks to Cody for joining us.
Thank you. Why was...
Thank you. Goodbye.
Goodbye. I don't understand why that was funny.
Thank you.